So where did my 3 decades of franchising start? Well, for me, it all actually started in the late 80s when I was studying up in Newcastle, and part of my course was a specialism in business enterprise. So that's the running and managing of small businesses. That's where it all started for me. But in 1995, I fell into franchising when I became marketing assistant for the Quick print, copy and design franchise. And I left there 10 years later as head of operations. I left to join a budding new energy fitness clubs franchise as an investor and director of franchising support, and loved my time there. But then in 2006, I was approached to join Molly Maid. And it was really Pam Bader who impressed me because of her instinct of the importance of passionate, sincere care for franchise owners and how that's the essence of franchising support. I was so impressed by that, I had to join. And now as Chief Operating Officer, I'm so privileged to have that position. So where does franchise support begin for Molly Maid? Well, for me, it all begins from when somebody applies to become a franchise owner with our organisation. Because at that point, they're making a decision to trust us with their future and to change their career. So that's really important for them, and we have to recognise and be responsive to all their questions, because every single question is important to them, so it has to be important for us. So our franchise support begins with understanding that, responding to that, and to make them understand everything that we can do to help them run their business. But from that point, our franchise support really takes off, both in terms of training them to become a franchise owner, but through every stage of their growth and maturity. Franchise support for me becomes real franchise support with 3 main ingredients. The first ingredient of franchise support for me is thinking like a franchise owner. When I say thinking like a franchise owner, we have to understand how they're thinking and feeling at every point. They might have a concern over the growth of their business, or the staffing in their business, or their financial management and their numbers. We have to really understand that. When we do understand how they feel, then we've got a much better way to address that support and deliver sincere support back. And that word sincere is my second point. When we're supporting franchise owners, we have to have that sincerity and passion about what we do, and you can't fake that. But by understanding how they think, then we have to be sincere and need to be sincere, because it is their future. Everything that we do is helping them in their future with their families. So you have to really be honest, passionate, and sincere in all our support. Those are the first 2. But then for me, the third area is actually about being there. When I say being there, I'm actually referring back to this principle of fish. Now, fish was a concept that we had at one of our conventions years ago. It all emanated from the Seattle fish market. And these are all concepts about how you must behave in business. But it's this one of being there that's particularly important to me. What I mean by being there is when you're focused on a franchise owner at their hour of need and your support, you've got to blinker out everything else and just be concentrating on that franchise owner at that time. Forget everything else, because you've got to be centered on them. And if you're centered on them, thinking like them, being sincere and concentrating on them, for me, that's how you deliver great franchise support. So when providing franchise support, there are 2 main moments when that's particularly important. The first moment is when a franchise owner's having some particular challenges and they need us because they're in a hole or they can't see their way out. So it's so important to be able to provide the support, the solutions, the guidance to guide them away from that challenge and to help them grow their business from that point. And then when they've overcome those challenges, it's about celebrating the success. And that's a wonderful thing about franchising, because you know how hard they've worked with our support to get there. First of all, it's the internal awards. We love celebrating those sales growth awards at our annual conventions, those people that have actually achieved the pinnacle of sales growth in that year. But we also celebrate milestones along the way throughout the year. and actually share those on our own internal intranet on Workplace by Meta. That's where we celebrate every single milestone. The external awards. For us, it's when Sandra Redburn won British Franchise Association's Franchisee of the Year. That was wonderful. But more recently, when Glenn and Magali Molly Maid Teesside and Jill and Rob Dawson from Molly Maid Burton-on-Trent and Derby both won great British Franchise Awards from whichfranchise.com. Those are wonderful to celebrate. There's one particular award that I'm most proud about, and that's our Franchise 5-Star Franchise Satisfaction Awards. Now that's an independent award from anonymous surveys from our franchise owners, which rate our support. So what are the 3 things that I'm most proud about during my time at Molly Maid over 18 years? Well, there have been quite a few, but there are probably 3 that stand out. First of all, it was our support to franchise owners during the COVID pandemic and coming out of the pandemic. We knew we had an opportunity to really transform our business. And what we did during the early months was we gave support to our franchise owners on a daily basis. When they were confused about everything else that was happening in the media, we helped understand what the priorities were for them to get back into business, get back to full strength and grow their business. To do that, we offered daily support and guidance. This is a manual showing over 200 memos that we sent out during the first 9 to 12 months following the pandemic, and guidance notes to unravel everything out there in the media, to help them get back into business, help them have the belief and all the structure to get back and to look after themselves and to get their business back to full strength. And by that, we help them, everybody get back to full strength, back into business within 9 months. The second thing I'm most proud about is our technology developments. There are probably 2 main areas that I'm most recently proud about. One is our Workplace by Meta we have online. So that's our intranet. And we've developed there a online family environment. We support franchise owners on a daily basis with all the guidance and recommendations, how to make their business stronger, better, how to navigate around challenges. But also we've developed a new web-based abacus. I'm really proud about that, leading technology to help our franchise owners manage their businesses better, more efficiently. And that web-based system now is on hand to help them do that. So the third area has to be our overall franchise support, delivered by my franchise support team, and in particular my business advisors. Morning, noon and night are offering support to franchise owners when there's a challenge, when they really want to grow their business, when they want to develop their sales, grow their profits, develop better business value for the future. It's our true, recurring, constant, consistent franchise support I'm most proud about, and having that culture of always being there for our franchise owners. So for me as Chief Operating Officer, one of my priorities and responsibilities is to constantly inspire our franchise owners and share what the environment looks like. Look at how the market's growing. For Molly Maid, the market is now worth £8 billion. It's a huge marketplace, and there's so much opportunity for our franchise owners to grow their business, to grow their sales, profit and business value. To actually achieve that then, it's about getting together on a one-to-one basis to understand what their 5, 10, 15-year goals are, what's important to them, what profit goals do they have, and then we unpick every single element of their business to look at the structure that their team needs to have in the future. What recruitment do they need to look at? How do they need to develop their teams? How do they need to develop their own responsibilities as managers and owners of their business? And then look at all the actual marketing and recruitment activities, understanding all the numbers, so that they feel they've got a really solid plan to help them build their future goals, future profit, business value. For me, the franchise support and pulling that together is vitally important and central to everything that we do at Molly Maid.